Oh, it never rains in northern Colorado. Yeah, I've often heard that kind of talk before. Howdy, Scott in Colorado here. It is raining again. It is August, beginning of August. What is it, 3rd, 4th? I don't know. It's Monday. It has been raining. It has been thundering. It has been lightning. We need the rain, so I'm thankful for that. But another beautiful day. It's about 56 degrees outside. About 56, 58 degrees. So I got a jacket on. Oh, check out this this cool shirt. Check this out. I found. Can you see it? Yeah, long-range body piercing. I saw that with my son in a shop, and we had to get one for each of us. Thought that was hilarious. It's just a joke. Yeah, I shaved off my beard. I got tired of it. I got PTSD and have problems sleeping at night, and it's just itchy. Any kind of I'm like hyper aware all the time, and I've always been that way my whole life. And any crack or pop or sound in the house, and I'm wide awake. Any kind of stimulation at all, and I can't sleep. So just the itchiness of a beard, my beard poking me, it didn't work. And I've grown it, and I've shaved it off over and over again, and I think it's gone for good this time. My wife likes the beard, but if I can't sleep, hey, life isn't that great. Anyways, I thought I would share with you a whitewater rafting or river running story. Actually, this is canoeing that happened years ago. I was into whitewater canoeing. I owned an Old Town Tripper canoe. Old Town is the make, Tripper is the model. It was a 17-foot, I think it was 17-foot, 2 inches, something like that. Over 17-foot canoe. Had a Royal X hull. This is an aluminum canoe. This is a whitewater canoe, an expedition style canoe. It was very long, very heavy. Not heavy. It was weighed 72 pounds, I think it was. But had Kevlar skid plates, front and rear, filled with airbags. We used it for whitewater canoeing. Later even made a deck for it because I have an industrial sewing machine. I like to sew, and I can never leave anything alone. I always have to modify things. It's just my nature, and try to improve them, make them better. Anyways, made a deck for this thing so that it was just like a Alpha class submarine. It could go through waves, whitewater, standing whitewater, and just shed the waves if you could keep it upright. You could not Eskimo roll this thing, but it was amazing. We had skirts on it. We were wearing life jackets, wetsuits, helmets. These life jackets were rated to 30 or 40 mile an hour. I think it was a 35 mile an hour impact rating, so you could smack into rocks without breaking ribs, which was really important. I've broken 4 ribs in my life, but none of them whitewater canoeing. A couple when I was board sailing out at Columbia River Gorge. I just hit a wave. I was leaning back on the trapeze on the boom and smacked a wave and busted a couple ribs on my right side. Anyways, I was talking about canoeing. I was whitewater canoeing the Provo River. And now this is in the early spring. There's not a lot of whitewater on the Provo, but it is quite narrow. And there was a lot of logs and trees going across. This is basically at flood stage. Well, it was at flood stage. And Kevin, my bowman, and I, he was a great bowman, would whitewater canoe the Provo River. And we whitewatered the entire river and got pretty dang good at it and survived it. Sometimes I had to get stitches, other times not. One day we were canoeing the Provo, and we were canoeing the lower section. And it was, of course, like I said, in springtime. We were paddling along. We were down in the lower, probably the last 1/3 section, where it gets very narrow. And as we're canoeing along, I'm in the stern, and as we're canoeing along, going down this very fast water, this way up into the trees and the shrubs, we came upon a family husband and wife, and 3 kids, I believe it was, all little, very small children, the smallest of which was practically maybe a year and a half old, up to maybe 4 years old or so, maybe 5. I don't remember the combination of boys and girls, but anyways, it was at least one girl, maybe 2 little boys, I don't recall. Anyways, they were in like a blow-up little rubber vinyl. It wasn't rubber, it was a vinyl dinghy that you might find at a big box store like Walmart or Target. This dinghy was maybe 5 foot long, maybe that's about 5 or 6 foot long, and they had these little toy plastic paddles, and mom and dad were in this dinghy having a great adventure, nothing wrong with that, but nobody was wearing a life jacket in whitewater with kids. Anyways, they're going down this river, and we come upon them, and they're on the left. We see them because dad is frantically grabbing branches. They have no paddles. They've lost both of them, trying to maneuver. And they lost paddles, and he's trying to grab branches, and he's grabbing branches. Of course, that's a fair amount of weight in this thing, and there's a lot of drag in the water. And he's grabbing onto branches, and he's just stripping branches and bushes. His hands are just flayed, and he's just stripping off all these leaves and ripping branches off, trying to stop the downward momentum of this dinghy toy going downriver. And they're spinning around as they're trying to grab onto branches, both husband and wife. The kids are panicky. The wife is she's very upset, as I recall, crying, upset, panicky. Of course, the kids are scared. They were in a life or death struggle. I saw what was going on. I said, either Kevin and I said, "Do you need help?" They said, "Yes, help us." And of course, we were going to help them do whatever we could. However, the river we were approaching, there's lots of turns, constant turns, very, very narrow. The river wasn't wider than not even 10 yards, maybe 7 yards wide, 6 meters. Anyways, more. Anyways, we're moving along, and we could see there was no way that we could take on board these folks and get them aboard the canoe without capsizing the canoe, and then everybody's going to be in trouble. As we're coming along, it was just we had very little time to react and make a decision. But you know, when you say your prayers and you ask for Heavenly Father's help, you ask for God's help, He will assist you in time of need. And I know these folks had offered up a prayer for assistance. Almost immediately, of course, when they asked for help, I looked downriver, and there's this huge log that had gone across the river. Most of it was sunk in the river, and you could move around the right side of it, and it was free passage. But this tree had knocked over this big log. It was perhaps this big around, and it had fallen in the water, and there was a gap of about 18 inches, okay, above it was above the water, and then it dropped down into the water, and then the water was boiling up over the log. And this log probably extended 14, 15 feet, about the length, probably 17 feet before it disappeared, 17, 18 feet before it disappeared into the water and went under. I could see that these folks were going to hit this log because it was on their side of the river, and they were going to hit it, and that raft was going to get sucked under the log, and they were going to go under the log, and they're going to be capsized, and they were going to be spit out underneath. Hydraulics in water, you cannot fight hydraulics in water. We are made up of water primarily, and you cannot fight it. There's nothing really you can do. it's just going to have its way with you, with your body. Somebody was going to die. When I saw it, I think Kevin and I instantly knew what had to happen. I yelled at Kevin, gave him some direction. I said, we're gonna nose it right. We're gonna take our nose and we're gonna ram it right into the cleft of that log where it met the shore or came close to shore, within maybe 4 or 5 feet of shore. And we were gonna we knew that it would turn. All right, the canoe would turn. All right. Because water was going underneath, and it would act as a stopper, okay, in that log, and would rotate the canoe this way at an angle, and then instantly fill it with water. Yeah, we had airbags in there, but still there's a lot of area that could be filled with water, and it created a stopper and a barrier to keep the raft from being sucked in and going underneath this log. We powered hard forward. We got ahead of them, maybe 40, 50 feet ahead of them, and we slammed into the log. As soon as we hit, of course, at an angle, the tail section, the stern moved in. It hit the log parallel, and of course it turned. We came into it, and it turned just as I predicted, as I felt it would, and Kevin knew it would, and it turned, and water immediately boiled into it and boiled up and over. Trapping the canoe. It was just stuck, just like glue. I turned, I threw my paddle up on shore. Kevin threw his paddle up on shore. It was actually a very small island. And I turned immediately. The man and wife, they threw their children. The husband threw the kids one at a time as they approached. They're coming pretty fast. They're coming about 8 miles an hour probably into this log. He threw the kids. Everything slows down in time. I can see it like a picture in slow motion as I recall it. They threw the kids to us. One to me, maybe the mom threw one of the kids. I don't remember, to Kevin. We're shouting instructions. We knew what needed to be happened because it was being given to us. It was being given to us in our brain. It wasn't something we came up with. I'm not that smart. They threw the kids to us. 3 kids. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe there was 2 kids. There were either 2 or 3 kids, but there was more than one. There was 2 or 3 children. They threw them to us. We grabbed them. Kevin would throw them up into the deep grass. This is hip-deep grass on the island. Threw them up. This happened very, very quickly in just maybe 3 seconds. We had all kids off, and then the raft slammed into the boat, and Mom and Dad grabbed onto the boat and were able to get them up onto shore. The boat, I don't remember what happened to it. It might have gone down river, maybe it stopped there. I don't remember what happened to it. Nobody cares about that. We got them up on shore. They calmed down a bit. They were still panicky. We started exploring the island. We still had to get them across the rest of the river. Most of the river was now behind us, but this water was ice water. This is springtime. This is we're 6,000 feet or greater elevation, and this is snow melt coming off the mountains. There's plenty of snow up in the mountains still. This is early spring, and this water is ice cold, smarting cold if you're British. It stings. Luckily we had wetsuits on and life jackets and helmets. Anyways, we get onto this island, and we had to move these folks, which are now very wet and hypothermic, and get them across the rest of the river up to the road. From there, they could hitchhike back to their cars. Back in those days, this happened in the 70s, people would pick up hitchhikers, particularly in the canyon there, particularly in Utah. Folks are pretty trustworthy and trusting, and if you don't look like a scumbag, they're going to pick you up, particularly if you look like you're in need. Anyways, I've always been a good swimmer. Kevin was a great swimmer. We got them on our backs, and we would run them across. I don't remember if we had a rope, and we took the rope and strung it across the river and used that to ferry them back and forth. We took the kids on our backs, and then the husband and wife, and we ferried them back and forth between Kevin and I and the opposite shore through water that was well over our heads. You couldn't reach the bottom. It was very, very deep. Not very, very deep, but for a river it was very deep. It was probably 6, 8, well, it was over 6. It was probably 8 or 10, 12 feet deep. And got them to the other side, heavy current, swam over to the other side and got them into the trees and back up to the highway in the canyon. We used to receive they thanked us profusely. They really felt we'd saved their lives. They're glad that we're able to be there at the right time. We didn't do anything special. Didn't do anything anybody else wouldn't have done if they would have had the skills and the attitude. And the plan was given to us by God. That's ASP, Attitude, Skills, Plan, ASP. It's something that we all need to have. John Correa on YouTube, Active Self-Protection, he does excellent YouTube videos where he critiques videos of where folks are being armed robberies are occurring, and they've happened on camera through videotape and so forth. And he captured these and asked people, or he critiques them and talks about what you could do, what you could do better. And he always talks about the attitude that you have to have, that I will not be hurt. I will take action. Number 2, you have to have the skills ahead of time. You have to develop the skills. And lastly, you have to have a plan. If any of those 3 are missing, it's not going to work. All right? You're going to get hurt. You have to go all out. You have to go 100%, all the way. I'm not going to say 110% because there's no such thing. I hate that description. 100% is 100%. You go all out. Okay? You give it the best effort you got. And that's all that anybody and God can ever ask of you. We used to receive a Christmas card every year, Kevin and I both, for thanking us for being there at the right time and for saving our lives. I was glad we were able to do it. It felt great. Made me feel good about myself. We just beamed going home. We told the story, and it just felt good about ourselves. It feels great to help people. So if you have an opportunity and have an attitude to help, and have a plan, develop the skills, develop the confidence. And you develop the confidence by being in there and trying. Okay, don't go over your head, but try to help. Do what you can. Okay, give it 100% effort. And if you can't get it all the way, that's okay. Just do your best. Try to help people every day. If you have that attitude and you pray to help other people, Heavenly Father will place you in a situation, place you in the right time, in the right place, in the right circumstance, and He will give you the plan. Okay, in this topsy-turvy world we live in a crazy situation like that, and He will tell you exactly what you need to do, because it'll come right here, so long as your mind is open. You have to have faith. Faith is defined as hope in things which are not seen, but which are true. All right, it's a hope. All right, you can't have faith that the light switch will turn on or off. All right, that's really not faith. Faith is in God or in Jesus Christ. All right. You can't have faith in man. You can't have faith in electricity. You can't have faith in God and in His Son. You might disagree. That's fine. I don't really care. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.